Hello, beautiful souls. It's a beautiful day in the natural world. My name is Farah, and I like to make videos about how the feeling of the sacredness of nature within us supports and nourishes us to feel everything else we need to feel in our human experience to evolve and expand and flourish. So today we're talking about being who we truly are and knowing who we are. And when I come out into the natural world, I am in awe of how a tree is just a tree, and the bird is just a bird, and the flower, it just is what it is. There are no layers of how they're supposed to be, or blocks in terms of maybe fears or resistance in the way of the fullness of the expression of who the tree is, right? Or how the flower blooms. There's nothing in the way of the fullness of the expression of who they are. And in my own life experience, I have experienced a lot of blocks in the fullness of the expression of who I now know that I am. And, those experiences of resistance, so many different parts of me, right? Parts of me carrying fears of how things should or should not be, of what other people might think, of not being enough, um, of the consequences, of maybe being able to hold what might come with the fullness of expression of who I truly am. And it's fascinating because, when we're kids, we kind of just walk into the world as we are. There are no layers of supposed to be or should be. And so when we walk into, any life situation, as a child, there's a sense of freedom, a full embodiment of being exactly who we are as we are, and this trust, this knowing in who we are, carrying the capacity to meet whatever life brings us. And then we, consciously and unconsciously make choices to survive, right? Various conditionings that we may have picked up from society, from our families, from years and years of human conditioning for survival. And we put on these sort of cloaks of I'm going to say cloaks of character, cloaks of our character, right? Where there's something that just gets in the way of that fullness of expression. And sometimes, sometimes, when I come out into the natural world and I notice that I am carrying, I'm feeling some cloak. I almost imagine like what it would be like if I came out here and there was like a tree that was like wearing like sunglasses and like a trench coat and like a scarf and boots, and I sort of walk up to that tree and I'm like, who are you? And then the tree like says to me, oh, well, I know who I am. It's just like under all of these layers of who I thought I had to be. And it's kind of a playful little image that we never actually see out here in the natural world, right? There are no layers of thinking or feeling, or even conditioned responses in the body that that trees and birds and plants, they're not carrying, right, what we might be carrying. And so I get to come out here and actually feel those things, right? I get to feel the experience of fear, or I get to feel the experience of wanting, or, I mean, honestly, it's a lot of fear, right? I feel like fear encompasses a lot of the sort of energy of that resistance that I myself have carried in my human experience. I wonder what it might be like for you, if that is a pretty prominent experience that you encounter as a block to the fullness of expression of who you are. And I get to come out here and I get to feel that. And I get to feel it next to these beautiful beings that are not cloaked in any other characters, but who they truly are. Oh, I'm noticing the light changing there. I don't know if you can still see me there. I'm gonna just go with it. Okay. And I don't need to push away those parts of my human experience, right? The fear of all of the things of, of not being enough, of what other people might think, of the consequences of what could happen, of wanting and not receiving, of, whatever thoughts or feelings might come up in my human experience. I get to be with that and actually feel those experiences in the body, accompanied by these beings who just don't wear trench coats or glasses, or carry, these same conditionings of the mind. And I also get to be ignited by the purity, the unconditioned truth of the life of these beings, of the tree just being exactly who it is, and the flower just fully expressing itself, and the birds just completely expansive in their flight. I get to be ignited by the energy and the expression of the fullness of, their truth of who they are. And then I get to go back into my day-to-day life and call upon that feeling that I feel out here, the wisdom of the knowing of what's beneath the conditioning of the mind. And again, it's not getting rid of it. It's not even pushing away. It's just actually anchoring in the truth of who I am, the truth of who you are, whatever that might look like for you. And when I'm anchored in that knowing, in that fullness of expression of who I am, I get to be with the conditioning of the mind in day-to-day life in the same way that I would be with the conditioning of the mind out here in the natural world, which is from a place of acceptance and support and nourishment, and knowing that all the fears and the thoughts or feelings or even experiences that we might be carrying in our bodies, that we've had to carry, that we've chosen to carry to survive, they're there. They're just not who we really are. They're just not the truth of our being. They're just not the life that is shining through us. They are part of our experience of sort of expressing or embodying the life that we are. They are part of that experience, but they are not the essence of who we are. And I'm so grateful. I am so grateful to the natural world. Oh, where's the light now? Oh no. Oh, did I miss it? There we go. I'll just keep turning around here and maybe eventually it'll land on. I don't know if you can see me clearly because I can't see I can't see in the video. Maybe that'll work. Okay. Yeah, I'm so grateful. I am so grateful to the natural world for this regular, consistent remembering of who I really am. And I wish this for you. I wish this knowing for you of who you are. Because this life that we are, it is who we are. Just like the tree is the tree, and the flower is the flower, and the bird is the bird. And we can be with all the layers, you know, the glasses or the trench coat or the scarf or whatever conditioning we might be carrying from the stories of our life situations. We can meet all that. We can meet all of that from this place of knowing who we really are. And so I wish more and more of what's already here and now in the natural world for you and for all beings. And thank you so much for allowing me to share the truth and beauty and the sacredness of the natural world with you.